Well, I woke up this morning to snow. End of March. And snow. Didn't expect that. Just as my magnolia's coming out, I hope it doesn't freeze. It looks like it's melting. But that was a nice surprise. Look at that. Hope the lambs are okay. There's lots of lambs about at the moment. You see the trees in the distance? Look at them. Those trees in the forest, all covered in white. Very nice. Very nice. That's the forest in the distance there, behind those trees in the front. Lovely. So, no gardening for now then. Take it. Just have to do my tax return instead. Lovely. Stripe's never seen snow before. I'll have to take him out in it in a bit. Well, isn't this a nice surprise? Doesn't it look lovely? I won't show you what I look like because I'm in my dressing gown with a hat and a scarf on to take the chickens out. I don't see what's up with the chickens. Thought Stripe might like to have a look at the snow. See what he thinks. Amelia's are still going. Come on. Morning, girls. As you can see, the fruit cage is flat. It's going to have to come down. Must have had a lot of snow. Day. Hope the sun stays. My husband said the weather's going to turn horrible later. We've got another storm coming. So we'll have to see. A lot of rain. I don't think it's going to be very strong wind, but a lot of rain. It's blinking cold out here. Come on, you. I'm get dressed and then I'm going to get to work on my video. Of my Q&A video. Come on, buddy. See you in a bit. Come on then. Come on this way. Come on this way. Let's go in. Come on. Stripe, I think your dad's gone, buddy. I think he's gone to work, pup. Come on then, let's go in and get ready. Hi everyone, welcome back to Wildwood Cottage and welcome back to Wales. It's lovely to have you here. Hope you're all doing well and I hope you all had a good week. Well, it's Easter. I couldn't believe it. It's April tomorrow. I know, isn't the year gone quick already? I thought I'd do something a bit different today for Easter, as seeing as it's the Easter break and there's not much happening around here because we've got visitors coming over the weekend, and I want to have a bit of a break with my husband because he's off for 4 days with our new little pup, taking him out for walks and just spending some time together. So I thought it was a perfect time to do the Q&A that I've been promising you, saying that I'd do. Do you like my cardigan? This is my Maya cardigan. I knit it a couple of years ago, and I've been too big to be able to fit into it. But with losing a stone in weight now, I'm able to fit into it. So I'm really happy. I'm getting some of my clothes back. But yeah, I thought I'd do a bit of a Q&A for you, and we'll have a little look around outside, and I'll show you some of the sights and sounds of spring. I also went on a little walk with the little doggy and my husband, and we went to have a look at a local garden that belongs to a friend of ours, which we've been wanting to have a look at for a while. So I'll put some footage in of that for you as well during the video, because she's got a waterfall in her front garden, and she's got a pond, big massive pond. It's a bit like make an ideal wild swimming pond if she thought about doing that. And a huge glass greenhouse. It must be 20 metres long by about 4 or 5 metres wide. So I've done some footage for you. I was going for a little walk around there. Stripe was terrified of the water. He didn't like the noise of the water. He doesn't like loud noises. I don't know whether it's his ears that are a little bit sensitive with being so little. But yeah, I've got some footage of that for you, and a few little things from around the garden in the polytunnel, and maybe some pictures of some lambs as well, because we've got lots of lambs around at the moment. There's not much been going on around here really. I'm sorry for the lack of videos, as I said in my last video, but with everything that's been going on at the moment, I've not really had not the will or the desire, but it's just not been there to do videos, to be honest with you. And I am going to keep doing my channel, don't worry. I'm still going to be making videos. I'm going to get back to normal next week. But just the last few weeks, with everything that's been going on, with my allergies and with getting the puppy, the lifestyle changes that I've had to go through with having to change my diet, I just really haven't had any more brain space for anything else. So if my videos are a bit muddled and all over the place, and Stripe looks younger and Stripe looks older, it's simply because I've been trying to get up to date with all the footage that I've been taking for you of what's been going on around here. He is growing fast. He's getting to become a big dog. I think he's going to be quite a big, strong dog. He's very fast. He's very intelligent. He picks things up straight away, just like that. I can teach him something, and within about 5 minutes he's got it, and he's away, and he's learnt it. So he's a really good dog to teach, and I've been spending time with him, trying to teach him just the basics of going outside to use the loo, not weeing on the floor, not destroying the house, not jumping on the furniture, walking to heel, not running off, teaching him his name, just all the basic sorts of things, and he's taken to it really quickly. I've also taught him how to give me the paw so he can give me a treat. He tells me when he wants to go out to use the toilet. He whines at the door and scratches at the keys as if to say, let me out, let me out. So yeah, he's a really intelligent dog. He's a really lovely dog. He was a surprise to me just as much as he was a surprise to all you lot, really, I think. But I'm so pleased I got him. He's such a delight to have around. He's beautiful. He's a very well behaved dog, really. Considering he's a puppy, he's just happy to play. He's just happy with his toys, happy to have a bit of a sleep in his crate, and happy to hang out with me. So it's a perfect win-win, really, for both of us. So yeah, so I'm going to get back to the questions, and I thought I'd do a couple in here, and then I thought I'd just go around the garden, the polytunnel, and just answer a couple of questions in different spots and show you a few different things while we do it, and that'll be the video for today. So yeah, I'm doing this really because we've had so many new subscribers, by the way. We've had a lot of new subscribers come along since the new year. I've probably gained in the last 28 days about 160 subscribers. So there's a lot of people out there that don't know about me, and I haven't introduced myself to you for a while. So this is the reason for me doing the questions. So if you've already heard some of this before, then great, you've been here a while. Thank you very much for staying with me. And if you haven't heard before, then welcome to my channel. It's lovely to have you here. So the first question she asked was, how much land do you have? I have about 1/4 of an acre. It's split into three gardens. The first part is the veg garden, and I did acquire a bit of extra land off the landlord last year to put polytunnel. and a little bit extra veg growing space. So that is 1/3 of that 1/4 acre, and it's quite a big space. I've got the chickens there, I've got my fruit bushes there, my currant bushes, and my gooseberries. I did have a greenhouse, but the wind finished that off in the last storm. I've got my polytunnel, and then in between all that, I've got some growing space for growing my vegetables, which I've turned into my victory garden. And I've got another space at the back of the chickens, which is going to be done eventually, but probably not until next year now, because time is marching on and I've got that much to do. I've got to hire the fences to keep the dog in. I've got loads of plants still to put in, and I've also got to get the vegetables growing in the first place. So I think that part of the garden is going to be next year. So in answer to your question, I have about 1/4 of an acre. I have then the middle part of the garden, which is some roses, the perennial border, a bit of lawn for when my friends' children come for them to play on. And then that then takes you up the garden, which is the pathway we take when we go to see the chickens and we go up to the shed. So that's the middle part. And then there's the top part of the garden, which at the moment is a bit messy because I've got all my fence posts stored there at the moment for doing the veg garden. And I am going to turn that into an agility area for the dog, because I want to be able to do that dog agility where they run through the sticks and they go through the hoop and they go on the slide and all that sort of stuff. I think that would be great fun for him. And it's a long, straight run. And they're the kinds of things I can put out when the weather's nice, put them away when the weather's horrible. We don't use that part of the garden very much, just to walk around and look at the flowers. I've got my rose walk up there. I've got my woodland area up there. I've got some fruit up there. That's where my fruit trees are for my victory garden. I've got apples, pears, cherries. That's all up there as well. And yeah, it's just an unused space really. I do sit up there sometimes in the summer when the bench is up there because it's in the shade a bit more. And when the weather's hot, it's nice to sit up there. I've also got the tumble down barn that needs rebuilding as well. And I really have to get on with that wall at the back, because he'll be out like a shot underneath that big metal container and off across the field, and I'll never see him again. So I really need to get that wall finished. But I'm waiting for the weather to dry up. Again, it's raining. We've had snow this morning, as you saw at the beginning of the video. And that was a surprise. We weren't expecting it. And we're getting another storm this afternoon. I can't remember the name of it. Storm something. Maurice or something. And yeah, the rains are coming. And that's going to make everywhere really wet. So that was the first question. Then she said, how long have you been gardening? Oh gosh, I've been gardening as long as I can remember. I can remember getting my first packet of seeds when I was about 5 years old in my mum and dad's garden. My dad was into Having the Good Life from the TV programme on the telly in the 70s. And he grew potatoes and onions and leeks. I can remember his potato ridges. They were huge, they were up here. And I can remember this big block of soil where he had his potatoes growing along the wall. And I think he grew beans as well. And I wanted to get involved and grow some stuff. And I grew lettuce, beetroot and radish. So yeah, he bought me some little seeds from B&Q. He gave me this little tiny patch of garden with his, round by where his roses were by the rockery. And I sowed my seeds there and we ate them. And I was probably about 5 or 6 because I remember it was before my brothers came. And it was when he had his lovely rose garden. So yeah, we just had a yard, and it was just in the either side of the yard. It had soil beds, and then in the middle a path. And I can remember sunbathing on that path when I was little, with my little sunglasses on, with my teddies all around on a blanket, flat out looking at the sun. I had a rabbit there as well. We used to have a rabbit called Snowy. So yeah, I've been gardening a long time. I got my first plants when I got my first house back in 1996. I think I bought my first lavender, and we only had a yard then. We didn't have any soil or anything. I just had a few pots and a chair sat outside. And yeah, we've always rented our own houses. We've never bought a house. We decided that we weren't going to do that. We didn't want to go down that road of being beholden to a bank, having to keep a job to be able to pay for a mortgage. We've always just rented our houses. So that was our very first rented house. Little 2 up, 2 down, no bathroom. All it had was a bath and a toilet, no sink. And you had to walk through the bedroom to get to the toilet. But yeah, I then got a garden in my next house after that, and I had that for a year, and that was lovely. I did go to the shop and bought a load of plants, planted all that up. But unfortunately, we had a dog then, and he trampled the lot. So yeah, that was my first foray into gardening properly, I think, back in 1996, 97. And yeah, I haven't stopped since. I love gardening. It's my quiet place. It's what I love to do. I used to love taking my old dog to the allotment when I had my allotment. And we used to just go, and he used to sit in the sun. I used to tie him to the bench. I'd do my gardening. Now and again he'd sit up and he'd go, where are you? Where are you? When we going for a walk. But he was buried there when he was 15 and a half. I left him behind when we left the Wirral. And yeah, he's buried on my old allotment garden. I hope he's still there. He was a lovely dog. He was beautiful. And I couldn't bring myself to have another dog for 12 years after he died. So yeah, now Stripe has come along. He's brightened up my world. And I wouldn't be without him. So there you go. The other question she asked was, what are your favourite things to grow? Well, I'm torn between vegetables and roses. Perennials and that, they pretty much look after themselves. They don't need any looking after. But I love my roses. I do. I love my roses. I love the camellias because they're like the first sort of springboard towards the roses. And yeah, I love the David Austin roses. I love the shape of them. I love how they open up. I love the fact that they're like an old English rose, sort of a Victorian style rose, and they kind of open up like a cup, and then the bees can go inside and hide in there. I found many bees asleep in my roses, and I love to go out and just smell the roses. Look at how pretty they are, and they last here until about November. I had my last rose December last year. So yeah, I think if you ask me what my favourite flower is, it's the rose. I love them. I've got roses everywhere. I need to feed them. I've got loads of chicken compost to feed them with, and I need to get them fed ready for the season ahead. I've got climbing roses as well. I love the bush rose, the shrub rose, and I also love the climbing roses because you get a lot more value for your money with a climbing rose because they grow upwards, and they're usually about 12, 15 foot long each stem, and you get loads of roses on them. So yeah, I do love my roses. I think that would have to be my favourite thing to grow. I do like growing food. My favourite food to grow is tomatoes. It has to be tomatoes because you can't get the flavour of a real tomato in the supermarket. And I love the fact that when you picked a tomato and you take it in the house, it smells like a tomato. It smells like where you've picked it from. You go into the polytunnel or the greenhouse, it smells of tomatoes. They've got a beautiful, unique smell to them. The plant has a unique smell. The plant's very useful. You can use it for dyeing wool as well, which I'm going to try this year. And yeah, I just love the smell. I love the fact that when you eat them, you can taste the tomato. It actually has a flavour. Whereas when you buy the tomatoes from the supermarket, to me, they taste of soap. They don't taste of tomatoes. If they have any flavour, they taste of soap. And I think that's what they spray them with to get them to grow. It just goes into the tomato, and they're disgusting. So yeah, if you ask me what my favourite vegetable is to grow, it has to be a tomato. I know they're technically a fruit, but I like tomatoes. So yeah. Right, do we get a lot of snow here? No, we don't. And when we do get snow, it's gone within a few hours. Today I woke up, everywhere was completely white. It's crushed my fruit cage, as I say, with the weight of the snow that we had overnight. But now it's gone. Everywhere's all green again. You wouldn't even know that it snowed last night. But yeah, now and again we do get snow, and it's on the ground a couple of days if it's a particularly cold season. But yeah, we don't get a lot of snow here at all. And that's the only snow we've had this year. We've had a lot of rain, and it's nearly April and we've had our first lot of snow. So we probably won't get any more. It's called lambing snow because it's lambing season at the moment, and we've had a heavy snowfall. So they call it lambing snow here. Sometimes we get really, really bad snow in the mountains and the sheep get buried and the lambs get buried. But they had that 2014, I think. The farmers were actually physically shovel and pick, digging the sheep and the lambs, and a lot of farmers lost a lot of sheep and a lot of lambs. But here where I am, we don't get snow really. We did in the mountains when we lived up in the mountains a few years ago, but we don't get it here because we're nearer the coast. So it kind of comes here as rain, and then as it goes inland, it then turns to snow, and they get it further up the valley. But we don't really get it here. And And the last question from Country Mouse was, are all beaches there rocky? Again, no, they're not. We do get sand here. We don't get a lot of shells. For some reason, we don't get a lot of shells. There's a place further up the coast that does, a good few miles away from here, probably about 30, 40, 50 miles away from here. But we don't get shells. There's a beach further down the coast from here, and they're very rocky. But here we do get sand. We've got a lot of stuff that's brought in to raise as like a barrier from the sea, because the land is quite level here. So we do have a lot of stones that's been brought in to protect the land from the sea. But no, we don't really have a lot of rocks. There is a lot of sand here, and they are nice beaches as well. They're lovely beaches. There's one particular beach I like going to, and you look back and you see out to the mountains, and it's beautiful. It's really lovely. I'll see if I can find a picture. I'll pop a picture in for you. But yeah, they're Country Mouse's questions. So we're going to go outside. We're going to go and have a look at a few flowers that are going on outside. We've got the camellias. My rhododendron that Gordon had is absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to take you out and I'm going to show you that. And I might even go and see if I can find some lambs for you. And if I can, we'll answer some questions there as well. So see you in a minute. Well, there's a welcome sight. It's the first lambs of this year in the field at the back. She's got number 1 on, so she must be the first one to have her lambs this year. And she's got twins. Ah, isn't that lovely? Ah, I do love seeing them. And zoom you out a little bit. There you go. It's not as shaky now. There she is. I wondered what the farmer was doing down the bottom before. Ah. So the blossoms out on the plum trees. These are my jewel plum trees. This one's been good for a while now. There's quite a few flowers, so I'm hoping for good things because there's been quite a few bees about. But yeah, the blossom's beautiful against the black here. This one's just starting. It's a little bit slower for some reason. This one always seems to be a bit slower than the other one. I don't know why, but it's got some good growth on it now. Need to prune it because otherwise I won't be able to harvest the plums. But yeah, very happy with that. The camellia's been beautiful. Showed you some pictures of this before when it had the snow on it. But as you can see, going back to Mrs. Country Mouse question, we don't get a lot of snow for very long because all this was white about 2 hours ago, an hour ago. But as you can see, it's all gone. So I just want to take you to see the magnolia. It's just starting to open up. Now this doesn't usually come out until April or May. But look at those flowers. Lovely big buds this year. Last year it was late. But yeah, it's going to be in full flower in the next week or so. And that'll look really pretty if we don't get a load of frost. So it doesn't look like the snow's harmed it any. And this cistus looks like it's going to be really nice as well. Have you seen those lovely yellow flowers? This is from B&M last year. I bought 2, but this one's the only one that survived. So I'm happy with that. This is what I really want to show you. Have you seen this year? I couldn't find any video footage of it from last year. But the tree surgeon that did my trees told me to dig this out and throw it away. Have you seen it? It's absolutely gorgeous. I've never seen flowers so beautiful. Look at that. But this was Gordon's. and it was where the oil tank was, and it just seems to be really, really happy here. I don't like taking out big trees. That one died. That was one of those chili lantern trees, and that died. But this one is just thriving. Look at it, it's beautiful. I don't even remember seeing it this pretty when Gordon had the garden. So yeah, I'm very happy with that, very happy indeed. It's been beautiful. I watched it opening from the house, because I can see it from the landing window. I mean, look at those flowers, aren't they beautiful? So yeah, rhododendrons make me happy as well as roses. I just like flowers, you know. I just love flowers. I think they're really, really pretty, and they make me very happy. So yeah, I'm really pleased this is thriving. I'm hoping it's going to come back better next year, because it's been better this year. This is its 4th year now in this spot, so I'm hoping it's going to be even better again. Right, let's go on. Oh look, I've got a magnolia stellata flower there. Just one little flower. I thought I could see one from the house. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Right, as you can see, it's a bit cold out here today. So, the next question was from Catherine. And she asked me, Catherine Patterson I think her name is, and she said, what are the positives and negatives of frugal living? I think the positives are you save a shed load of money. It makes you think outside the box. You end up getting things that otherwise you wouldn't have been able to afford if you'd had to go out and buy them. Like my sofa in the sitting room where I was sat before. That's a Laura Ashley sofa from Next. If I'd bought that new, it would have cost me £1,000. No way I'm spending that on a sofa. I bought it in the charity shop and it cost me 95 quid including delivery. So yeah, I got a lovely sofa. It's virtually brand new, nothing wrong with it. And it is so comfy. It's a 4-seater sofa and it is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Laura Ashley. I mean, I wouldn't be able to afford that in a million years, being able to buy that myself. So yeah, that's one of the positives. You get things that you wouldn't otherwise have been able to buy. But one of the negatives is you can't get things when you want them. You have to wait, you have to save, you have to look around, you have to search. You just have to be a bit more patient, a bit more thinking outside of the box as to, I want this, how am I going to get it? And yeah, I got my sofa. I wasn't really looking for it. I wanted one, but I wasn't going out my way to look for one. And I was at the charity shop with my mum one day doing the shopping, and there was this sofa, and I was like, you know, that's got to come in my house. I need that sofa for that price. It's a gorgeous sofa, a lovely little yellowy gold green colour, and it's beautiful. I love it. Really comfy. I lie down on it overnight. I have a good sleep on it, and then I go to bed and have a good sleep on there as well. And me and the dog can cuddle on there. I put his bed on there, he sits in his bed, and we sit together on the sofa. So that's really nice. So they're the positives and the negatives. I would say the negatives are you've got to be a bit more patient. You've got to wait for things. You've got to save up. And the positives are you just end up living a life that you want, that you can create, and you can get the things that you want if you're prepared to wait for them. So yeah, I hope that's answered your question. If not, let me know and I'll have a bit more of a think about it. And maybe I could do a video on that topic, the positives and negatives of frugal living. Maybe that could be a video that we do. Let me know in the comment section below if that's something you'd like to see. Another question she asked me was, whose decision was it to be frugal? Well, it wasn't really a decision. It was just a lifestyle. My husband and I have never had good jobs. We didn't go to university. I didn't do well at school. I'm a bit of a dunce when it comes to numbers and English. And I'm more practical, more hands-on. I like to do things, make things with my hands. I like to think of how I can make things and do that. Come from a family, my husband, start again. My dad's an engineer. And I think that's rubbed off on me a bit because I like to think outside the box and think, how can I make that? How can I do that? I'm just not clever at all. There was a time when I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a criminal lawyer, but I failed at school because of circumstances outside of my control. I ended up with a serious illness when I was in school, and that put me out of education for over 6 months, right at a crucial time in my GCSEs. So I never finished school. I never finished my education. I failed all my exams, and yeah, this has been more of a lifestyle that we've always had, because we've always sort of, most of the time we've been self-employed. And to any of you who know, who do a manual job self-employed, you have to work when the work's there, and when it's not, you have to be creative in ways to put food on the table, pay the bills, and keep a roof over your head. So that's how we've always lived, really. We've always had to live that way, and now it's just a way of life. I don't even think about it as being poor or being frugal, or I know it's a fashion word now, isn't it? This is just my way of life. This is how I live. I love how I live. I get the privilege of being able to be at home and stay at home all day and work from home. And that's just the way me and my husband like it. We are Christians and we believe in headship, and I believe that my place is in the house, my place is at home, looking after my husband, looking after this place, being a housewife, and I love it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So for me, it is a lifestyle. It's not a choice, it's just a way of life. And as I say, I wouldn't have it any other way. So I hope that answers your question on that one. Right, so we've come back to the sanctuary of the polytunnel because it's raining. And Puppy's asleep. He has a play for an hour and then he sleeps for an hour, and that's kind of how the day goes with him, really. Yeah. The next question was, have you always aspired to living frugal? Well, no. Basically, no. I think I'd have to reword that and say, have I always aspired to have self-sufficiency? And the answer to that would have to be yes. For a large portion of my life, anyway. Just having my biscuit, just a sec. Just trying to think how long that's been. I think pretty much most of my adult life, I would say since the late 90s, I've wanted to be self-sufficient. I did try growing vegetables in pots in two of my houses, much to a great failure, largely because I had a dog. And any of you who know what it's like having a dog, dogs don't have any sense of what's important and what isn't. They don't have any sense of, I shouldn't be on there, I shouldn't be eating that. A bit like the chickens, really. But yeah, I've always wanted to be self-sufficient. I grew up on the Good Life TV programme, as probably many of you did, with Tom and Barbara and Margot and Jerry. And I always loved that programme. I loved the idea. Sorry. Love the idea of being able to grow your own food, eat your own food, keep animals, and not rely on anyone, really, not pay any taxes. And that's kind of been my inspiration, I suppose, to do what I do today. I still watch the Good Life TV programmes. I love them. I've mentioned this many times before. I long to be Tom and Barbara, basically, doing it in their back garden, not with loads of land, and having the enjoyment of getting your first egg, getting your first lettuce. I'd like to keep some goats, but I don't have the space right now. I don't have the ability to have goats right now. I live in the middle of the countryside. If they got out, they'd be gone in an instant, a bit like the dog, really. And yeah, that's kind of what I think about self-sufficiency. When it comes to being drawn to this place, I wasn't drawn here, I was brought here. I believe that God brought me here. I believe that God brought me to Wales. When we came here, we were going to plant a church and set up a new church here with some friends. That didn't work out. We ended up going to the local church, and that really has led us to be where we are today and do what we're doing today, really. Because my husband is part-time at the church, voluntary, we both are, and he works full-time as a painter and decorator, and we have to be able to manage our money and manage our lifestyle in a way that works for the church, not what really works for us. In a way it does work for us because I get to live in an amazingly beautiful place. If I hadn't have met old Gordon at the church, I wouldn't be living here. I would still probably be up the road, up the valley, 15 miles up the valley, living next to an awful neighbour, and having to have a shared garden. Because that's mainly what it is in Wales. You have shared gardens, you come out your back door, you walk past somebody else's back door to get into your garden, and you have to have a conversation on the way past. You can't just walk from your house to your garden. You have to go past somebody else's house to get to your garden. And if they don't like you, like my neighbour didn't like me, oh gosh, it's horrible. It's an awful position to be in. But yeah, when I met Gordon, I was looking after him. I was doing his garden. He showed me how to look after this place before he died. Showed me the maintenance things that needed doing, like what grids needed to be cleaned out regularly, and how to grow the artichokes, how to grow runner beans. It was great. He was lovely. I loved working for him. And then probably a year, maybe 2 years before he died, I started doing his shopping. And then I started doing his cleaning. And I got to know him really well, and he was a really good friend. And because of that, when he died, we asked the family if they were going to be renting his house out again. And we just happened to come along at the right time, after a lot of prayer, because we waited 6 years to move from our last house. After living in a horrible situation for 3 of those years. And yeah, that just brought us here. Because the family said yes. It had just come into lockdown. They were going to have trouble renting the house out because they were going to have to find somebody. It needed renovating from scratch. It hadn't been touched since the 1950s. So everything had to be done. Electrics, plumbing, central heating, bathroom, kitchen, the lot had to be done. So yeah, that's how we came across this house, because of old Gordon, because I got to know the family that owned the house. It wasn't Gordon's family, but he'd been here for nearly 50 years. I think he was here for 46 years. And I found favour with the family. And when I asked if we could rent the house, they said, yeah, of course you can, no problem. We'll even renovate it for you before you move in. So yeah, we found favour with the family. They've let us live here. I love living here. They've said we can live here forever. I never have to leave. They've got no intentions of doing anything with it. They'll never sell it. They never sell anything. If anything, they buy. They own the whole valley, so there's no way they're ever going to sell this place and never kick us out. So yeah, this is my forever home. The question did I choose a place for self-sufficiency? No. The place chose me. This house chose me. I never thought I could ever have this house. When I used to come to Gordon's house, I used to say under my breath to the Lord, Lord, please let me live here. Please let me live here. And then when this family said that we could have the house, oh, we were over the moon. We were overjoyed. We floated. It was like we were floating on air when they told us we could have this house. To be honest with you, I walk around this place. I look out the window every morning and I think, wow, I'm so blessed. I'm so lucky. I don't deserve it. But God thought that I did. So, yeah. Next question is off somebody else, but I can't remember who it's from. And it says, how do I manage living without neighbours? Well, I do have neighbours. There's a bee place at the back here, right on the back garden. So there is people around a lot of the time. I'd say probably in the summer they're here about 4 months, 5 months. Not here much in the winter. And not here much at sort of July and August. So they're probably here about 5 months of the year once you add it all together. My nearest neighbour is about half a mile that way, about a quarter of a mile that way as the crow flies if I walk across the field. I love it, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, after the last situation in my last house, it's nice not to have any neighbours, because my experience with neighbours last time was horrendous, and I'm so pleased that I live on my own. I can walk out of my back door and not have anyone overlooking me, not have anyone else to consider, not have anyone else to think about. and I love it. I love the peace and quiet. I partly got the puppy because I do feel a little bit vulnerable up here sometimes in the winter when my husband's at work. But yeah, I love it. I really do. Coming from a city where like there was 1,000 people in the street, because there was 100 houses in the road, probably an average of 300 people, three people to each house. So yeah, it was a busy place, and they were all tightly packed together in the roads. So there was probably about 3,000 people in the place where I lived, in the area where I lived, between two parks. And to come here and have probably about 3,000 people in the whole valley, that's a big difference. A big difference. It did take a while to get used to it. It took me probably about 6 months, I'd say, to get used to it. But because we've gone to a small village where there was a lot of houses, there's probably about 16 houses in a really small tight space. Probably about an acre. The village was probably about an acre, and there was about 16 houses there. It wasn't too big a difference, but it was a difference because there was no shops on the doorstep. We didn't have a car for the first couple of weeks that we came here because the car broke down as soon as we moved. So yeah, it was a bit of a transition. It did take a while to get used to. It did take a while to get used to coming here, to be honest with you, once we've moved from that village to this house, because there was no neighbours at all. There is a house next door, but that's empty most of the year. So yeah, it was a bit of a difference. It did take a bit of getting used to, but I'm so glad we did it, and I'm so glad we're here, because I can realise my ambition to be self-sufficient now, because my landlord doesn't mind. My landlord's not bothered. And I'm sure if I wanted more land, I'm sure they'd find me somewhere if I asked them. But at the moment, I'm quite happy with the way things are. I'm happy with the amount of space I've got. I probably wouldn't ask for any more space until I'm actually using this space properly. And then once I've utilised all the space that I have got, maybe I can ask for some more space. So yeah, once I've used the space that I have got, maybe I could ask for some more. But at the moment, I'm happy with what I've got. Sometimes I find it a bit overwhelming having the amount of space I've got, the amount of work that I do have to do here, because the weather is a big challenge. It does take a lot of thought to try and manage my day, try and manage what I do because of the weather. When it's raining, I have to do what I can do inside. When it's sunny, I have to run outside, do what I can outside until the rain comes back, like it is now. So yeah, it is a bit of a challenge, but I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have my life any other way, to be honest with you. It is a struggle sometimes. It is hard work trying to manage your money, trying to manage your time. It is hard work trying to work out how I'm going to get things if I'm not going to buy them straight out, like getting the settee. I had to wait for the couch for a while, but it was worth it in the end because I got exactly what I wanted. So yeah, frugal living can be a challenge sometimes. Extreme frugal living can be an even bigger challenge, and I do find myself slipping between extreme frugality and frugal, depending on what I need to do. Because recently we had to buy a new car. We've got the puppy. We've had to pay out on the car as well, so there has been a bit of expense, but that comes with life, doesn't it? So you have to work out what you want to do within that frugal living, and we needed a new car. We were desperate to have a new car. I didn't want to get it through the next MOT, so yeah. Anyway, what did I do before living frugal? And YouTube. That was off Alison. I just had a mundane job, to be honest with you. I looked after a market stall. I worked in a Christian bookshop. I worked in a Christian bookshop when I first got married, and a co-op, and a newsagent. And then I went on to do office work and went to work in a music shop and did some agency work. I was never happy. And then I went on to work and manage the market store, which was a fabric shop. I worked in a wool shop, which suited me great, suited me down to the ground. And I also worked in a department store. Hated it, absolutely hated it. Full of posh, pretentious, obnoxious people, all walking around, all plastered in makeup, plastered in the latest fashions. Had the personality of a rhinoceros, And we're awful people. I hated working there. I worked there for just over 12 months, I think. And then I went to go and be self-employed with my husband and worked with him for 10, 11 years, doing painting and decorating, working with gloss paint. Got on my chest. It made me ill towards the end. And then my husband decided he didn't need me to work with him anymore. He was happy to work by himself. And I went on to do gardening and got a couple of gardening customers and did that for a while until we moved here. And when we first moved here, I did gardening for the first 5 years that we were here, largely to pay off a loan that we got when we moved here. We got a big loan, and that's another story. I worked to pay that off while my husband established his business here again. And then once that was paid off, I gave up working after having a bout of ill health. And I just ended up getting on and being a housewife and staying at home, doing a bit of eBay, doing a bit of online selling, selling handmade stuff. And then I started doing my YouTube channel because I felt that I was a little bit lonely. I needed a bit of company. I wanted to meet like-minded people with my crafts, and that was where that first started, when I started doing my Faithfully YouTube channel. I started that one first, and that was largely because I wanted to meet other knitters and people doing the things that I was doing, and have a community of people that I could talk to, doing what I was doing. And then that kind of followed on. When I moved here, I thought, I want to share this place with everybody. I want to share where I live. I want to share my garden. I want to share what I'm doing. I want to share my chickens. I know I want to share my puppy. I don't want to keep this place to myself. I feel selfish just living here on the side of a hill and not letting anyone else see it and anyone else share it. I feel selfish keeping my faith to myself. I'm not sharing the fact that I'm a Christian and that I came here because I'm a Christian and that God opened the door for me to come here. And because of that, I believe I can be a blessing to other people and share that with other people. So we show hospitality to people. People come here to eat meals with us. We open the doors to the widows, the lonely. We've got family that comes here. They've got 4 children. The kids run riot around the garden. We run around with the dog, chasing after them around the garden. It's just a wonderful way of life that I want to share with everybody, and that's why I started my YouTube channel. So if I'm a bit cuckoo, if I'm a bit blasé, if things don't go according to plan, I don't care really. I really don't care. I just want to share this place with everybody and let everyone else enjoy what I can enjoy every day, and not keep it to myself, because that would be really selfish. I think that would be really selfish if I just came here and said, I'm blessed, I'm just going to get on with my life here and never let anyone have a part of it. So that's my reason for doing my channel, my reason for not working, because I can stay at home, I can do what I do, I can sell a bit online, I can do what I do. Now my husband's business is up and working, and because I'm so frugal with the way that we live and the way that I manage my money, I'm as tight as anything. I won't spend a single penny unless I think it needs to be spent. And my husband likes it that way, so that means I can stay at home. So before I did have a mundane job. I hated it. I hated working for other people. I hated having to be answerable, go to work and do a 9-to-5 job. I hated it. Doesn't suit me. This suits me. I'm my own boss. I'm my own. I do what I do because I'm allowed to, because God allows me to, and because my husband is happy for me to do it. So I hope that you've enjoyed my video. Sorry we haven't got out a bit more, but as you can hear, it's chucking it down out there. I was going to go and see if I can find some lambs. I have got some footage on my laptop, so I'll put a little bit of footage in for you of the lambs that have been in the field in the back. But other than that, I think that's it. So I think I've answered all your questions. If you do have any more, do keep putting them in the comments section below that post, and I will be happy to answer them for you. If you go over to the community tab, I do put posts in there probably 2 or 3 times a week. So if you're interested in anything over there, go and have a look. So there is another video coming for you this week on Wednesday. I'm going to get back to my normal schedule this week, a Wednesday and a Sunday. And we're going to get back to normal. If I can, I'm going to do some Friday specials as well. But they won't be every week. They'll just be as I think of something. And we'll get on with the season, with the spring, with the victory garden, and with cooking our eating for victory recipes. So I'm going to go, because I'm getting really hoarse talking over the rain, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye for now. Bye bye. See you soon. Cottage needs one of these. I think it's the biggest greenhouse I've ever been in somebody's garden, and I'm not even at the back yet. Yeah. Me and the dog, me and this little fella, we're right at the back. Look, it's huge. It must be it's about 20 metres long. It's huge. By about 4 metres wide. So we're going now. But this is somebody we know, this is their garden. And it's fab. It's got ponds, it's got a waterfall, it's got some lovely camellias. Look at them. I mean, look at the windows on these. Quite substantial window locks. And she's got 4 grapevines as well. Right. Onwards and upwards. Stripey's leading the way. He's a good boy. I'm going to see Dad now. Come on. Bye bye, nice greenhouse. And it's got double doors as well. Look at that.